Welcome to my channel. So this tutorial is for a small bust bustier. So I'm going to start by marking the vertical measurement. So you will need the shoulder to the chest line, shoulder to the bust points, shoulder to the under bust, and the shoulder to the waistline. So I went ahead to mark those measurements as you can see in the video, and I'm going to be extending the lines out. So for the shoulder to the chest line for this client is 8 inches, then the shoulder to the bust point is 10 inches, shoulder to the under bust is around 13.5, and the shoulder to the waistline was 17 inches. So you are going to go into label all your patterns like I am doing in the video. So once you're done labeling your pattern, you can now go ahead to now start marking the corresponding horizontal measurements. So you can see that point that I marked first was the shoulder point. That's where I'm going to be starting all my measurements from. So on that point, I'm going to go in to mark the shoulder of this client, which was 13 inches. So you're going to be dividing 13 by 2. That gave me 6.5. So I went ahead to mark it on the shoulder point and the chest line. So if you don't know what a chest line is, the chest line is the depth of your armhole from the shoulder. So there's a measurement for that. So once you've done that, you want to go ahead to mark the round bust measurement, which I did there. Then I went ahead to mark the round waist measurement as well. I added 1 inch for that allowance. So for our round bust measurement was around 34. Divide that by 4, that's 8.5. Then for our round waist measurement, which was 30, I divided that by 4 and I added 1 inch that allowance as well. So you want to go ahead to divide the waistline into 2. So that's going to be where you're going to use for your bust bar measurements. So you're going to be connecting that point to the bust point. You can also go ahead to measure the bust bar measurement on the client. So you can see I'm just removing my dart allowance, which I did half inches on both sides. So once you're done with that, you want to go ahead to mark something that is called the bust bar measurement. So you're going to come down from the bust point 2 inches and you're going to connect it to the bust point like that. So that is for bust dart. So once you've done that, you're going to go into mark your shoulder depth. So for this I use 1 inches and I went ahead to mark my neckline. The neckline measurement I used was 2.5 by 3 inches. So you're going to form a curve like that. So once you're done, you're going to be connecting your shoulder point to your neckline to your shoulder depth like that. So once you're done, you want to measure what you have left there, divide it by 2, then you come in by 0.5 inches or 0.75 inches. So you can go in with a straight line first and you just curve your armhole like that. So if you want to draft a basic pattern, you can stop here, but this tutorial is for a bustier pattern. So on that under bust line, I'm going to be going in 0.2 inches and on the other side you go in by 1 inches. So this is okay for a small bust size bustier. So we're going in 0.2 inches on one side and 1 inches on the other side. So once you're done doing that, you're just going to connect the lines to the waistline. You don't need to tighten anything on the waistline, so we just need to tighten the under bust very well to get a perfect bustier shape, and that is what we just did. So now the next thing we're doing is to mark the upper bust measurement. So for this I use from the shoulder I use 5 inches. So you're going to go ahead to measure 5 inches and just measure the line out like that. So you want to extend the armhole line out a bit because we're going to be extending our darts on the armhole later. So the next thing I just did here was to bring up my bust span measurement, which was around 4.2 inches. I just extended it to the upper bust line like that. And for the darts on the upper bust line, I went in 1 inches on both sides. So you're going to be bringing your curve and you're going to be shaping it like that. So once you have something like this, the next thing you want to do is to shape your neckline depending on the type of neckline you want to do. For this, from the upper bust measurement, I just went down around 1.5 inches and I shaped it like that. So now the next thing I want to do is to extend my armhole area. Because I held in some darts on that side, I'm just going to be going in with the measurement of the darts divided by 2. Remember, we went in 1 inches on both sides, so you're just going to extend your armhole by 1 inches. So now you want to add some darts to the yoke area to make your yoke more relaxed. So that is what I just did there, and I'm just showing you the shaded parts that you're going to be cutting off, or the parts that are not parts of the pattern, so you get that. So once I'm done doing that, I just extended my armhole like that. So you want to go ahead and start cutting now. So you can see the first part I cut was that middle part. So you're going to cut, so that's the first piece of your pattern. So you're going to go ahead to cut the sides now. So so you need to cut out that part. Now when you want to cut the bust that area, you don't go ahead and start cutting on the line, because you need to close the bust that. Remember, it is not part of our pattern. We're going to close it, so you close it like that. I held mine down with a pin. So once I held it down, I went to reshape the sides, and I also reshaped the bust that was pointy. So just check your pattern very well. Any side that is not aligning, when you close your bust that, you need to reshape it. So once I did that, I just went ahead to cut off all the sides that I reshaped, and I just went back in to start cutting my pattern. So I have the two pieces for the bustier ready. So once I have that, I'm going to be holding that down and I'll work on the yoke. So now I'm going to be cutting the yoke part. So for the side that has the dart on the yoke, you're going to cut that part out and you're going to be holding it down with a tape. So I'm just going to be showing you how to do that. So here I've gone ahead to hold it down. Now look at that shoulder part. You can see that it is not straight after I did some closing on that area. So you need to use your ruler and just make it straight. So once you make it straight, so you have your yoke. So I'm just showing you where I taped the darts at the back. So now going into the back pattern. So we're done with the front pattern, so we want to drop the back pattern. So you're going to be extending the lines for the front pattern out. So you want to form a straight line somewhere that can accommodate your back measurement. So you're going to be labeling your back as well, like this. So the first thing to do is to go up 2 inches. So the 2 inches is for the bust that we measured for the front pattern. Remember that side bust that we measured 2 inches. You might be wondering why 2 inches. The 2 inches is the difference between the front and the back measurement. So you need to eliminate that 2 inches. So which is what I just did for this pattern, and I have my new waistline measurement. So this new waistline is where you're going to be marking your round waist measurement. So the next thing I just did in this pattern was to mark the shoulder on the shoulder point. I marked it on the chest line as well, and I just went in to mark my round bust measurement on the chest line. So now going into the waistline, you need to come in by 0.5 inches and just connect it like that. So that is going to eliminate back bulge. So you're going to now go ahead to measure your round waist measurement and you add 1 inches for that allowance. So you connect it like that. So once you connect it, you want to mark your dart. So you divide that point by 2. You can see we still have around 4.2 inches, and we're going to just connect it to the chest line. So once we connect it to the chest line, we're going to go in by 0.5 inch on both sides. Remember, we added 1 inch dart allowance. So we're just going to be connecting it like that. So once we're done doing that, the next thing we need to do is just to mark our neckline. So my neckline for the back, I used 2.5 by half inches, or did I use 1 inches? I'm not so sure. So you can use half or 1 inches. So for the shoulder depth, I came down half inches and I just connected it like that. So the difference, so you just go in with the division of those two, and you just come in by half inches for the armhole, and you shape your armhole like that. It's actually quite easy, so just follow the steps. So another thing I did was to come up by half inches on that new waistline like that. This is just to eliminate any folding at the back where you place your zip. So if you want a yoke, you can go ahead to create a yoke for this pattern. So that's just what I was showing you, trying to show you with my hands. So for me, I don't want a yoke, so I'm just going to be leaving my pattern like that without a yoke. So you're just going to go ahead to cut it out. And if you also want a shoulder dart, you can just go ahead to extend the dart lines up to the midpoint of the shoulder. So that is the middle of the shoulder point. Guys, if you found this tutorial helpful, please like the tutorial, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye bye.